In today's video, we reveal the wealth ritual to repeat every morning and why it can make your money grow faster than you think. Make no mistake, if you woke this morning without giving your mind clear orders about money, you've already signed the contract for poverty. Every dollar you've lost, every opportunity that's passed you by, every moment of financial pain you've endured was not chance. It was your mind obeying the command you unknowingly gave it. I am not here to comfort you. I am not here to flatter your mediocrity or to help you feel good about poverty. I am here to hand you the exact blueprint to command wealth every morning before the world has a chance to make you its slave again. Every millionaire I've known, Carnegie, Ford, Edison, Rockefeller, used this formula, and every poor man I've known ignored it. Today you have the choice. Listen closely, learn the secret ritual, and master your money, or refuse and remain a slave to someone who will. This speech will offend the weak. It will disturb the passive. It will outrage the comfortable. Good. Comfort never built an empire. Outrage is the beginning of true wealth. If you're brave enough, if you're ready to reclaim your financial power, keep listening. But I warn you, once you hear this, you can never again blame the world for your poverty. Your wealth, or lack of it, will be entirely on your shoulders. The first thought that enters your mind in the morning is not a small thing. It is the commander of the entire day. For your mind, when stirred from rest, is most open to instruction. In that sacred first hour, you either rise as a master of riches, or you kneel again to poverty and fear. If the thought is vague, the day will be wasteful. If the thought is weak, the day will submit to stronger men. But if the thought is definite, clear, and charged with a purpose toward wealth, then even before you dress or speak or walk, your riches have begun to form in the unseen. Understand this clearly. Thought is the forerunner of all wealth. Before gold appears in the hand, it appears in the mind. Before opportunity knocks at your door, it arises first in the palace of your imagination. Before the banker respects your name, your soul must respect its own worth. Therefore, what you think in the morning is not opinion, it is prophecy. A man who permits fear, frustration, or fatigue to enter the gates of his mind at dawn is already behind. Before he takes a single step, he has told his subconscious, "We are poor, weak, and uncertain." And that mind, obedient like a loyal but thoughtless servant, will carry out that command. But you are not such a man. You are a builder of thought, a governor of wealth, a commander of inner order. The first act upon waking must be the spoken repetition of your definite chief aim, especially as it relates to the riches you demand of life, not in casual mumbling, not in tired whisper, but in bold, clear tone, as if you were addressing the infinite. Stand, speak, and say aloud, "I am a magnet for rightful riches. I call them by name. They obey me because I think clearly, speak boldly, and act decisively." Speak these words not because they reflect your current condition, but because they create your future reality. The subconscious mind responds not to what is seen, but to what is repeated with belief. You must think wealth before you are wealthy. You must walk in riches before you possess them. You must live in abundance before the world grants it to you. And this all begins in the morning hour, when the world is still silent and your soul is nearest to its own potential. Do not think that money responds to effort alone. It does not. Millions labor tirelessly and remain poor. Money does not serve the man who only moves. It serves the man who commands. Effort without direction is like a ship with no compass. But a mind filled with purpose, issuing clear command, becomes a harbor toward which wealth naturally flows. Recall Henry Ford. Long before he produced a single automobile, he held the entire blueprint in his mind. He meditated not upon obstacles, but upon completion. He awakened each day with a picture of success already finished. It was built in thought before it was built in iron. If you think wealth, you will walk differently. Your tone will carry weight. Your decisions will cut through confusion. Others will feel something they cannot name, the vibration of a man who knows where he is going. Let no thought of limitation enter your mind in the first hour. Let no self-pity, no anxiety, no cluttered plans spoil the day's field. You are planting seeds, and if those seeds are sown with fear, the harvest will wither before noon. Instead, declare aloud, I am the steward of all riches yet to come. I am worthy, I am able, and I am in motion. My thoughts are aligned with the law of increase. Every day you awaken and repeat this practice, your subconscious adjusts its compass. Every time you speak your definite chief aim before the sun rises, your life shifts 1 degree closer to wealth. Beware the lazy morning. It is not merely unproductive, it is dangerous. If you begin the day in drift, that drift becomes the habit. And no man who drifts ever commands money. The drifter fears bills. The man of purpose commands wealth. This is not fantasy. It is law. It is how men rise, how empires are built, how ordinary voices become legends. And it all begins with the first thought of the morning. Let others awaken to noise, to gossip, to worry. You awaken to power. Let others rise late and stumble through distraction. You rise early and walk with intention. Let others check the news or count their worries. You speak wealth into existence. And when they ask why you advance while they remain stuck, you will know. It began not with money, but with a morning thought shaped by decision. Repeat now with boldness and conviction. Today, I think only of increase. I sow only seeds of gold. I walk as one already entrusted with riches. I begin my fortune in the first breath of the morning. This is the law. This is your path. This is the first discipline. And if you obey it, wealth must respond, for thought is the root of all riches, and your first thought each day shall now be wealth. Riches do not come to the man who begs. They do not appear for the man who hopes. They obey the man who commands. And command is not a noise. It is a ritual, a system, a pattern of belief enforced through daily practice, morning after morning, until the invisible becomes visible and the unseen becomes inevitable. Every morning must begin with your wealth command ritual. Not on some mornings, not when you feel like it, but every morning, as a man attends to his duties, for wealth is your duty, and it will never surpass the standard you issue with your voice and mind before the day begins. Begin before the world begins. Rise before the noise has a chance to enter. This is your sacred hour. No interruptions, no distractions, no delays. The wealthy man is not rich in coin alone. He is rich in discipline. Your first step is to speak your definite chief aim. Loudly, clearly, with posture, with pace, with breath. It is not enough to have a goal written. It must be spoken aloud. In the same way, one would speak to a great army before battle. Then declare the sum you desire. Do not speak in vague language. Be specific. Be definite. If you desire $50,000 in 12 months, say so. If you demand $200,000 by the end of the quarter, name the figure, speak it into law, then state what you will give in return. Nothing for nothing is the law of failure. All riches are earned by rendered service. Say aloud what value you shall bring, what problem you solve, what work you shall perform, what idea you are refining. Declare your offering to the marketplace. Next, name the time and method. By the first day of January, I shall have earned amount through the rendering of service or product. The universe responds not to vague intentions, but to declared timelines and methods. Now seal the ritual with conviction. Say this: I demand riches in definite terms. I have decided the price. I have set the time. My mind obeys. My world responds. This is your daily contract, a spiritual agreement written not in ink, but in tone, not in paper, but in the subconscious. This ritual, done faithfully, reshapes the man who speaks it. And when the man changes, the money follows. Why do you think Charles M. Schwab became the highest paid steel executive in the world without formal education? Because he began each day with a command. He did not ask the day for permission. He gave it purpose. He did not approach money as a stranger. He spoke to it like a general commands his battalion. He practiced self-command in the morning before he ever spoke to Carnegie or a boardroom. He refined his inner ritual long before the million-dollar speech that made him legend. Now I warn you, do not perform this ritual as a lifeless routine. Do not let it become dry. Emotion is the soul of command. You must feel the truth of your declaration. You must speak it with faith. Belief must be seen in your eyes, felt in your chest, and heard in your breath. For if you repeat these words without belief, the subconscious mind will ignore them. But if you speak them with certainty, with the voice of a man who has already seen the fortune in his mind's eye, then the world must begin to move. Let me say plainly, your tone matters. You must speak as a man possessed by purpose. Speak not as one who is trying to believe, but as one who cannot be denied. Say this aloud now. I do not beg, I do not doubt, I do not wander. I speak riches into motion. I act with direction. I think in gold. This is your law, your order, your authority. No employer grants you wealth. No market grants you riches. You grant them to yourself by establishing inner order through this daily ritual. Each morning you command, your belief deepens. Each morning you declare, your focus sharpens. Each morning you name your aim. Your inner world rearranges itself to make it real. Do not skip this. Do not delay this. Do not say tomorrow. Wealth responds to the man who speaks now. The world belongs to the man who rises before others rise and decides his worth before the day begins. If you practice this ritual for 90 days, you will not recognize your income or your inner voice. Say this again. I speak my fortune into form. I tell my world who I am, what I want, and when I shall have it. I demand it now, and I pay the price in service. This is the wealth command ritual. It is not a trick. It is not chance. It is the spoken law of cause and effect. Riches come to the man who has first built the consciousness to receive them. You are building that consciousness each morning, one sentence at a time, one repetition at a time, one act of belief at a time. And the man who commands every day without fail will soon live in the results that most men call miracles, but which he knows are only the rewards of disciplined thought. Money, like thought, must be directed. It is not wise. It is not loyal. It flows where it is guided or where it is lost. The man who would grow wealthy must treat each dollar as a seed, and no seed may be sown carelessly if he expects to reap a harvest of gold. Each morning before you step into the market of men, you must answer this. Where shall my money go today? What shall it build? What shall it earn? What shall it multiply? The man who does not assign purpose to his money is no better than a farmer who tosses his grain into the wind and waits for fortune to arrange his field. He will starve in confusion and call it fate. But the man of purpose designs the season of his abundance. Write down each morning how your actions shall increase your income, not in theory but in decision, not someday but today. Speak aloud what you shall do with your money, and what your money shall do for you. Say this, I command my money, I give it orders, I guide it to multiply, and it obeys me because I am definite. Even the poorest man, if he commands a single dollar with wisdom, has begun the habit of wealth. Even one coin properly spent, properly invested, or properly directed is evidence of a mind that no longer drifts in financial darkness. Riches do not answer to amount, they answer to attention. If you cannot control $1, you will not command 1 million. The drifting spender is a man already defeated. He awakens with vague plans, moves by impulse, buys by feeling, and repents by night. He serves the coin. He does not master it. And each day he remains in this fog. His subconscious mind is programmed to believe that money is fleeting, chaotic, and unsafe. Contrast him with the man who governs his gold. He rises with clarity. He knows what must be paid, what must be saved, what must be multiplied, and what must be given. He gives every coin a duty, and the coin rewards him with order. John D. Rockefeller, who became the richest man in the world, began not by chasing money, but by mastering its direction. He recorded every transaction. He calculated each flow of income. He declared aloud each morning the purpose of his fortune, even before it was his. He was a financial general before he was a financier. That is the lesson. Do not wait until you have riches to practice control. Practice control now, and the riches will come to meet your preparation. Each morning, write down what you shall earn. Decide what value you shall produce. Then determine how much shall be saved, how much shall be invested, and how much shall be used for living, not based on desire, but based on design. Say it aloud. I am the steward of all that flows through me. I waste nothing. I direct all. I build wealth with the hands of order and the mind of decision. No man builds a fortune by chance. All wealth is arranged by law. Your morning decisions are the blueprint of your financial destiny. You must decide to be rich before you are rich. You must behave with control before you possess the treasure. You must command your thoughts, your time, your money, or you shall be ruled by them. The man who governs his financial day before the world begins to move is the man who bends the world toward his fortune. Now commit to this practice. Each morning, in the same breath as your chief aim and wealth ritual, write down, how much shall I earn today? What must I do to cause this earning? Where shall each dollar go once it arrives? Do not leave a coin without a task. Do not spend a penny without intention. Let your money become soldiers, marching in line, building a fortress, expanding your empire. Repeat this as law. Money serves me because I lead it. I command it with clarity. I do not chase it. It follows my plan. And remember, even the richest men of history began this way. They were not born with vaults of gold. They were born with minds, as you were, and they trained those minds to treat money not as a mystery, but as a material shaped by law, focus, and command. Start now, before another coin slips into waste, before another hour passes in drift. Begin your financial leadership every morning, and money will become your obedient servant, not your elusive master. A man may carry the right thought, the right aim, and the right action, but if he lives in an environment of disorder, poverty of surroundings will eventually seep into poverty of mind. Your morning setting, the room, the air, the clothes, the desk, the objects you greet, either supports or destroys your belief in wealth. You cannot build a fortune in a space that whispers lack. The law of cosmic habit force governs this truth. Whatever surrounds you presses upon your subconscious. Repeated exposure becomes belief. Belief becomes identity. Identity becomes habit. Habit becomes wealth or misery. Therefore, every morning you must walk into a room that reflects your inner command. You must rise and enter a space that looks, smells, and feels like prosperity, not opulence, not luxury, but order, strength, vision. The wealthy man keeps his surroundings clean because they mirror the order of his thoughts. He removes clutter because clutter is stagnation. He places symbols of power on his walls because symbols speak to the subconscious in the language of belief. Say this aloud. I live in the tone of wealth. My environment reflects the riches I demand. I dress, speak, and move as a commander of fortune. Look around. What in your room affirms your financial rise? What calls your belief higher? And what drags it backward into the mud of yesterday's mediocrity? Remove all signs of weakness. Eliminate the broken, the unused, the neglected. Burn what no longer matches your purpose. Do not tolerate disorder, for every object that remains is a silent teacher, and your mind is always in class. Andrew Carnegie, before his name was known, insisted on wearing clean collars, pressed garments, and walking with the manner of a man already entrusted with riches. He would not permit himself to inhabit places of mental decay. He understood that the outer world must conform to the inner image, or it would distort it. You must review your vision each morning, not only in speech, but in scene. Place your written chief aim where your eye will see it upon waking. Pin your financial targets where your gaze will rest while dressing. Let every wall, every shelf, every corner affirm the message, I am a man of wealth. This is not fantasy, it is programming, a poster of your future office, a figure of gold on the bookshelf, a photograph of Ford or Edison or Rockefeller, a mirror clean enough to reflect the posture of confidence. These are not decorations. They are environmental commands to your subconscious. Say aloud, every object in my presence is either a partner in my wealth or a thief of my belief. I choose what remains. I arrange for victory. Do not let others mock your environment of purpose. Do not let the cynical tell you it is theatrical. The world is shaped by men who prepare their stage long before the curtain lifts. Even the scent of the air matters, the color of your notebook, the sound of your waking room. Every repeated exposure becomes a part of your character. Do not leave this to chance. As you dress each morning, ask, does this suit reflect the man I am becoming or the man I once was? Do not wear poverty, even if your purse is light. Wear intention. Wear clarity. Wear rise. This morning environment must also be free of noise. Do not begin your day with gossip, with news of ruin, with idle talk of other men's errors. Let your first hour be sacred and sovereign. Let only 3 voices speak in your room at dawn. Your chief aim, your affirmations, your declaration of what today shall earn and build. Say this as law. I surround myself with evidence of my purpose. I allow only thoughts, images, and words that multiply my wealth. Remember, a man may believe, but if he returns each day to disorder, disrepair, and defeat in his surroundings, that belief will be eroded by what his eyes absorb. The subconscious does not argue, it obeys. And if it sees poverty, it assumes it is truth. But if it sees discipline, cleanliness, strength, power, it believes wealth is natural and acts accordingly. Do not let your environment contradict your purpose. A man of wealth has a room of readiness, a desk of direction, a mirror of mastery, a floor clear of confusion, a wall that preaches belief. And when the world visits his office, they do not wonder who he is. They feel it before a word is spoken. Begin this tomorrow. No delay. Before another thought is spoken, before another coin is earned, reshape the space where you declare your wealth, for it shall either be your temple or your cage. This is the 4th pillar. This is the unspoken partner in your morning wealth ritual. Your words are not idle. Your sentences are not mere sound. They are instructions, laws issued to the subconscious, which then governs every cell of your body and every reaction of your world. If you speak of wealth, you are programming fortune. If you speak of poverty, you are commanding failure. This is law. Therefore, each morning you must guard your mouth with discipline and intent. You must speak only of wealth, progress, increase, and success. You must not, even in jest, utter a word that betrays your purpose. For the mind knows no difference between joke and truth. It obeys only repetition and tone. Let me make this plain. If the first words of your day are complaint, sarcasm, or defeat, you have already poisoned your mind's soil. No matter how powerful your chief aim, your lips can cancel its power. The subconscious listens more to tone than to logic. Declare this aloud. I speak wealth into existence. I do not discuss poverty. I do not rehearse failure. My words create my gold. Every sentence is either a seed of growth or a stone upon your own path. There is no neutral speech. There is no harmless negativity. All speech is creation or destruction. Choose wisely. Let this become your law. No negative talk before noon. From the moment you rise until midday, not a single complaint shall pass your lips. Not about the weather, the bills, the world, or yourself. Why? Because the subconscious is most open in the early hours, and your tongue is its teacher. Let your morning conversations be only of what you are building, earning, solving, creating. Speak of deals you are closing, clients you are helping, wealth you are constructing, not what others have failed to do. The man who discusses another man's failure is preparing for his own. He does not know it. He thinks he is clever. But the subconscious takes note and begins to believe that failure is normal, inevitable, and near. Thomas Edison, even in the face of thousands of so-called failures, never permitted his team to speak of failure as final. He would correct them. "This is not failure," he said. "We have simply discovered what will not work." And thus his mind and theirs remained fertile. Words are spells. Say the same thought enough times, and you shall begin to move and breathe in agreement with it. Even your bank account shall listen. If you say, "I'm always broke," you are creating chains. If you say, "Money comes easily and rightly to me," you are crafting wings. Make this your morning vow: I shall not speak lack. I shall not utter limitation. I shall not rehearse weakness. My voice is the trumpet of prosperity. Do not allow others into your space who speak against your wealth. If they mock, let them go. If they jest, dismiss them. Their voices are anchors. Your ship was not built for their harbor. Instruct those closest to you. We do not speak as paupers in this house. We speak as men of purpose. We speak as builders. We speak as commanders. Train them in your law, and their voices shall begin to strengthen your own. And if you must walk alone, walk with strength. Speak aloud your affirmations until they echo louder than the opinions of lesser men. Remember this: what you say in the morning, you believe by noon, and what you believe by noon, you live by evening. Your tongue is the chisel. Your life is the sculpture. Say again now with force: my words are wealth. I do not speak weakness. I do not prophesy lack. My voice builds what I have chosen to receive. This is not theory. This is the method by which empires are built. Every king first called himself king. Every captain first declared his course. Every wealthy man first spoke of riches even when his pocket was bare. Speak as the man you are becoming, not the man you were handed. Let your lips declare what your eyes do not yet see. This is faith. This is power. This is law. Your morning voice must carry certainty. It must ring with command. It must leave no room for doubt shall find its home in the empty spaces between your sentences. If you stumble, begin again. If a weak word escapes, replace it with strength. If you hear another utter defeat, silently replace it in your mind. Do not permit falsehood to enter your mental garden. You are the gatekeeper of your fortune. Your voice is the key. Speak now. Speak always. Speak only in the direction of wealth. You are not shaped by what you know once. You are shaped by what you review, what you repeat, what you rehearse. Repetition is the soul of belief, the hammer that forges identity, and the rhythm by which riches are formed. He who repeats truth becomes it. He who forgets truth drifts. Each morning must not only begin with declaration, but with repetition of the eternal principles that govern wealth. You cannot build prosperity without reviewing its blueprint. A man cannot retain what he does not revisit. I command you to read aloud every morning your written definite chief aim. The 6 steps for riches as laid forth in my doctrine. A brief review of the service you render in exchange for the wealth you demand. A story of a man who rose by definite purpose: Carnegie, Ford, Edison, Rockefeller. Say aloud: I begin my day in truth. I rehearse the laws of wealth. I train my mind with the language of riches. This is not for comfort. This is for construction. Each sentence, when repeated, lays another brick. Each principle, when recited, sharpens the mind. Each example, when remembered, engraves possibility into your soul. Repetition teaches faster than experience. Experience punishes. Repetition instructs. One man learns by loss. Another man learns by review. Choose the latter. Let your reading not be mechanical. Let it be alive. Read with your full voice. Let your body feel the message. Let your spine rise. Let your eyes burn with clarity. This is not poetry. This is programming. One young man I once trained increased his income 5-fold in 90 days, not by changing his trade, but by reading his definite chief aim and wealth statements aloud each morning without fail. His tone changed. His belief deepened. His decision sharpened. The world responded. Your mind is not stubborn, it is obedient. It listens to what is repeated. If it hears truth daily, it believes it. If it hears chaos daily, it mimics it. Do not let your belief depend on circumstances. Let it depend on rhythm. Repeat these now. I believe in riches because I repeat the laws of riches. I rehearse my fortune aloud. I engrave wealth into my being. This is the law of autosuggestion. Your subconscious is your most loyal servant. It does not think for itself. It absorbs. And what it absorbs most often, it obeys. If you wish to multiply your income, multiply the repetition of the principles that cause income to grow. One cannot speak of gold once and expect mountains. He must chant it, command it, live it. Have a list. Keep it beside your bed. Upon rising, open your mouth before you open your door. Before the day begins to instruct you, you must instruct yourself. Read these aloud. I am the man who earns a mount. I render service with excellence. I receive riches in increasing measure. My thoughts, tone, and actions reflect a man of wealth. Let the body memorize this rhythm. Let the breath of your mornings be filled with gold. Let no day begin with silence. Silence is where doubt lives. But repetition is the sword that cuts doubt in half. Say aloud now. Every day I repeat my destiny. Every day I teach my mind wealth. Every day I move toward gold because I have engraved it into my soul. Do not tire of repetition. The man who tires of it shall remain in lack. The man who honors it shall soon walk in riches. Repetition builds rhythm. Rhythm builds habit. Habit builds belief. Belief builds behavior. Behavior builds income. There is no greater tool for transformation than daily review of wealth truths. He who repeats them becomes them. He who recites them walks in them, and he who walks in them shall soon be followed by the sound of coins. Wealth is not merely a condition of the purse, it is a condition of posture. You cannot wait for gold to straighten your spine. You must walk as if your fortune were already earned. Before you possess the riches, you must possess the bearing of the man who commands them. Each morning, the first steps you take must carry the energy of dominion. Let your walk declare your chief aim. Let your shoulders speak of order. Let your eyes tell the world that you are not here to wonder, but to decide. Posture is belief made flesh. The man who slumps, who drags, who hesitates, tells his subconscious that he is uncertain. The world agrees. Opportunities slip away. Voices speak over his own. Doors remain shut. But the man who walks in rhythm with purpose is obeyed, even before he speaks. Declare this now. I carry wealth in my posture. I move with dignity. I reflect the fortune I am building in every gesture. Every motion is instruction. Every pace is programming. The subconscious mind watches the way you move and says, "This is the man we are becoming." Therefore, move like one who already reigns. Upon rising, dress not for comfort, but for command. Even if no man shall see you that day, your mind will. Even if you work in solitude, the mirror will reflect your belief. Put on your best not for others, but for your becoming self. Abraham Lincoln, long before the nation knew him as president, walked with calm, deliberate dignity. He spoke few words, but the tone of his gait, the gravity in his movements, made others lean forward when he entered. That was not by birth, that was by decision. Say this aloud. I dress, walk, and breathe as the man I have declared myself to be. My body follows my aim. My world follows my energy. Poverty begins in the body before it touches the bank. Weakness shows itself in the slump of a shoulder, the pace of a shuffle, the tone of a sigh. But so does wealth, seen in the raised chin, the steady stride, the silence that does not need to beg for attention. When you walk into a room, let no one wonder what kind of man has entered. Let them feel your direction, your rhythm, your intensity, though you speak not a word. That is wealth energy. That is the unseen signal that causes men to listen and doors to open. You do not wait until you have riches to act like a man of wealth. You act like a man of wealth so that riches must appear to match you. This is the secret behind every self-made man. He lived into his fortune before the gold arrived. Even if your pockets are empty, your presence must be full. Even if your purse is light, your tone must be heavy with belief. Even if your task today is small, your manner must be vast. You are not rehearsing for wealth. You are commanding it with every breath. Now repeat, I rise like a man of fortune. I walk like one who cannot be denied. I move through the world with purpose, and the world answers. Let this become your morning test. Does your posture command attention? Do your eyes speak of focus? Do your movements speak of royalty or of rebellion against success? Adjust nothing in the world until you have adjusted your frame. Let no task begin until you walk like it already succeeded. Let no conversation begin until your body has already announced that it is not here to drift, but to decide. The great builders of wealth all moved with a pattern. They did not fidget. They did not panic. They did not sway between moods. They walked with rhythm. They breathed with control. They carried the world, not with volume, but with gravity. You must now become such a man, and you begin by choosing to carry wealth in your energy. Say again boldly, I walk as if I own the day. I breathe as one already in possession of his goal. I carry in my being the weight of a man chosen for riches. Let the poor of spirit laugh. Let the small of mind call it performance. You know the law. Thought controls the body, and the body shapes belief. Act as if, and you become. Each step you take after rising must be a step into fortune, not just by labor, but by tone, by carriage, by choice. This is how wealth is magnetized, not with desperate chase, not with frantic grasping, but with poise, with certainty, with the manner of a man who knows that what he seeks is already seeking him. Every fortune begins with a decision, not with labor, not with luck, but with the inward decree, this day I shall prosper. A man who rises without decision has already lost. For indecision is drift. Drift is weakness. Weakness is poverty. But decision is riches in seed form. Each morning you must sit silent, deliberate, and declare your intent for the day. This is not a wish. It is a sentence spoken in stone. What shall you earn? What shall you accomplish? What shall you plant toward future wealth? You do not begin your day until these are known. Say aloud, I decide to prosper today. I move forward in belief. I act with power. I receive with gratitude. This is not superstition. This is spiritual arithmetic. Clarity creates energy. Energy becomes action. Action becomes results. But it begins with decision. A drifting man does not prosper because he has told his world, take me anywhere. And the world, being indifferent, obliges. Decision is the mother of direction. Without it, you shall be pulled into the plans of other men, most of whom do not know where they are going. Decide now. Today I act. Today I earn. Today I advance. Do not delay the decision until breakfast. Do not wait until others speak. Before you dress, before you read, before you walk, decide. The mind that decides early builds with clarity all day. The mind that delays becomes a battlefield of options. Declare in detail, I will write and send this proposal. I will complete this service to the highest degree. I will earn amount through the value I deliver. I will save amount, invest amount, and use amount with wisdom. Speak it, write it, own it. Henry Ford did not build his empire by accident. He decided to create a car that every man could afford, and he made that decision before he had the means, before he had the machinery, before the world believed it could be done, but he decided, and the world obeyed. When I began my assignment from Andrew Carnegie, no agreement was signed, no funds were guaranteed, but I made the decision to write the philosophy of success, and I acted as if it were already complete. The decision came before the reward. That is always the case. Let this be your morning vow. I do not wait, I do not hesitate, I do not guess, I decide, and the universe aligns. For even infinite intelligence cannot support an undecided man. Decision is the signal that you are ready. Without it, opportunity walks past you and into the hands of the one who had the courage to commit. A man cannot be divided and wealthy. He cannot serve both doubt and desire. The first hour of your day must prove to your own mind that you are no longer confused. You are no longer seeking direction. You are creating direction. And the man who creates direction is obeyed by money, by men, by conditions, by circumstance, not at once, not by miracle, but by law. So speak it. Today, I am the cause. I act with boldness. I claim what is mine. I multiply because I have chosen to move. Then move. Begin immediately. Do not read further. Do not drift or analyze. Once the decision is made, act upon it within minutes, or risk it being lost in the fog of lesser voices. Do this every morning, without fail, even when tired, even when discouraged, especially then, for decision in fatigue is strength. Decision in darkness is leadership, and wealth follows the man who decides regardless of weather. No vagueness ever multiplied a dollar. No hesitation ever attracted gold. The man who speaks, believes, and moves owns the room, the day, and his fortune. Rise tomorrow with this final charge in your heart. I command my wealth in the morning. I speak, decide, and act before the world begins. My fortune follows my decision. My results reflect my will. I move early. I move first. I move with faith. That is why I multiply. This is the 8th principle. This is the crown of the morning wealth ritual. You must no longer drift through the dawn. You must dominate it, and the man who does this without exception shall soon find his name whispered among the fortunate. He will not be surprised. He will smile, for he knows. He decided it long ago.